Well, greetings. I thought maybe I would take a few minutes and talk about something that's really on my heart. And once again, it's a twofold thing. There's the worldly perspective of the globalization of humanity. I know that sounds big and it sounds wild, and it is, but it's one element. The other element I see is the simple and basic concept of what the Lord Yahshua is calling for. I don't know that I understand either globalization or exactly what the Lord Yahshua is calling for completely. There's no way for me to know that stuff completely, but I can know some of the things that I'm seeing. And I think this is beneficial in this way. We are very closely related to many people, and we would call them, the people I'm thinking of would be like the outer court family. And they're the ones that we love and that love us. But, they sense that we have a spiritual connection to a God. And we have let them all know that it's Yahshua. And I think that's all good. And I'm not sure how fast the process from just being lost to being justified by the new birth, I'm not sure how long that should take in every case. But I do think constantly going everywhere that we go and manifesting the love of God by having convictions, love, values, principles that we live by that we don't cross generally, I think it does speak that we are of a God. Some element of God is alive in us. So I was thinking that if we could sharpen our dialogue with each other and with those people in what I call the outer court family, and even just people in the world, if we could sharpen our dialogue with them, maybe have a resource like this in the future where there can be some information put up that people can actually go and look at on their own by themselves without any pressure. I think there's a lot of value in face-to-face interaction and dialogue, but I also think, especially for myself, that when I come across something and I'm learning, I like to be able to sit down and just engage in it myself and try to formulate my own thinking. So that's really what's behind all this. It's try to reach out to other people, both at most of the people in the outer court are still unregenerate, or they don't have the new birth experience. And then there's those of us that do have the new birth experience, and I'd love to try to promote a sense of prophetic updates from all involved. I will have everybody in our family down here, check these videos out and see what they think of it. And I want to try to promote both the secular conversation and the spiritual conversation. So today I thought maybe just a little bit of time on the globalization. I see globalization as ultimately the enemy trying to get every element of human existence under one roof where he controls everything. And there's so many branches of that. We'll get into that. There's so many branches of that. It's a multi-pronged approach to just complete human enslavement. And it's so far along, in some senses. I mean, if someone told me we're already completely enslaved by the system, I would not argue. If someone told me we're on the cusp of total enslavement, I would not argue. If someone said none of that's true, I would say, wow, you just got to take a look and see what's going on around you. So that's like the globalist side, and we'll get into that a little bit more. I'll provide some insight and information for you to look at. Now, on the spiritual side of things, I don't think it's as difficult as all of religion makes it. But I also don't think doing nothing is the right response. I totally believe that the plan of God for humanity since the beginning has been his plan. And I do not believe that the things that have occurred since the beginning of that plan that are not his idea, giving humanity a will to make their own choices, and then watching humanity plunge itself into ungodliness, I don't believe that surprised him, because he understands what love is, and love is a risk. You're always going to be taking a risk when you share love with someone. And then he expressed that love to us first. So I really believe that in his plan, he knew all along what kind of response humanity was going to have to him, and the influence of the old nature, as it were, of the darkness, where people are responding to darkness in such incredible ways. So I don't think any of this surprises him. And having said that, I think that his plan is the one that continues. And I believe he's like the boat in the water. You know, we've seen the water just like a mirror on the lakes. And that boat goes through there, and it's making those waves, and it's going through that clear water, and it's pristine and undisturbed. That's how the Lord operates. He operates, his plan is what's creating the wake. And then humanity and darkness exist in that wake. And so when you see the globalist agenda picking up like it is in all the different phases and areas, you got to be thinking that it's in response to the things that the Christ has already done. And I really believe that the big picture here is that Christ is moving forward into his will, into his Father's will, at a pace that he has established. And I think he's doing it, and nothing can stop him. Do I think he's sensitive to the rest of us humans who have so many issues that slow us down? Yes, he is. I guarantee you, but he's not going to stop moving forward. And the enemy is not in front of him. The enemy, darkness, is behind him, responding to his movement forward. And I just happen to see it that way. So with that, I think there is something that we can know about the Christ in a time like this. And I must say that I think we are entering, I can't say we're entering the end of the world age. I don't know that. But I do see an age of humanity that is ending. And I can see a new age of humanity and some other things that's beginning. And we'll talk more about that kind of stuff. But it seems like this age is winding down and a new age is beginning. And my biggest concerns are really, for me and for some of us older people, is that we prepare the people that are younger than us, like our children's generation, maybe even like the 30, 40 somethings, the 20 somethings, and then help them understand that there's some work they're going to have to do with the Lord to prepare for their children or our grandchildren, as it were. So I'm really more concerned about the direction we go and how it affects those under us. But I do want to know exactly where the Lord wants us. And so for this video, let's just say that we know that he's called us to follow him and pursue him with our heart, soul, mind, and strength. And that's something that we need to do. And if we do that, we will find him. And in that, we'll know who we are and what we're supposed to do. And then love one another like we love ourselves. That loving of self is not the narcissistic kind of love that we've seen so many times. The loving of self is where I offer my life and my existence to you and to your life and to the lives of my family and possibly to some other people, where I care enough about them to offer them my life. Now, if I'm following the Lord according to my call, then I actually have some love and things to offer. So, you love others like you love yourself, and be tried and true and trustworthy to the family of faith first. I know that those things aren't specific, like what are we going to do if this happens? But let's not get into that yet. Let's just look at the basic elements of pursuing Christ every day, loving him loving us, us overcoming the old nature, in the process, building deeper, more sensitive, more spiritual relationships with each other in the family, reaching out to those in the outer court and loving them. And I think no matter what we see happening on the globalist side or on the darkness side, I think we stay ahead of things. I think provision and protection is found in there. And I do want to go deeper into what the mind of God is saying, but I don't think I can know everything. I need you guys and anyone who's pursuing the Christ to also come and help by just pursuing him. And then we will have some conversation, put together some pieces to the puzzle, and try to come up with something. So I will be bringing forth a little bit more information on the whole globalization, the one world everything. And as I learn more about Christ, I'll bring it forth. And I hope this can help you. And I hope that it will be a resource that we can share with other people in the outer courts and just some generally concerned people. I know that we all know many of them. So we'll give it a try and we'll go from there. Thanks for your time. Lord bless, and know that we love you.